All right, you guys, we are back and we are live. Oh, goodness. Please excuse the mess that is me right now. I just finished cardio, but I'm here. We got this. We got this. As you guys are logging on tonight, QR code up in the corner. That is for our new Instagram page, which is Stage Ready by Sean. So I am live right now on Instagram on Sean's Couture, but that is going to be changing over to Stage Ready by Sean very soon. Here on YouTube or Facebook, you don't have to do anything different. It's going to still be here. We're just going to start changing the brand. If you haven't been here for the last couple of weeks, we are rebranding. So if you haven't followed my new Instagram page yet, you need to. It's right up there in the corner, right there. Click on that IG. Happy early 4th. Yes, I will be on the road bright and early tomorrow morning for to go up to NPC Universe. So my 4th of July will be spent in Jersey. Yay. Hopefully we'll get some pro cards out of it. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. So while we're waiting for everybody to log on, we usually do this for, a few minutes and just kind of vamp a little bit and talk and tell me where you guys are from. Type into the comments, tell me where you guys are from. If you're logging in on Instagram, head on over to YouTube because we will be screen sharing photos and things like that. As we get into it here, I do want to give a big shout out to our partners. First one up is Liquid Sun Rayz. So Liquid Sun Rayz is the best competition tanner out there. I've been using them for the last 15 years. Ever since I first started. So they are the best. If you have not worked with them before or used their products before, scan that QR code, use cuties10. That will give you discounts right there for all of their skin prep, all of their tanning products. They have makeup now, all sorts of things there. So go check that out. This will also help you with booking your show day tan when they spray you, if they're the sponsor of the show or whatever it may be. You can also use the code for that too. So go show them some love. They are amazing when it comes to their customer service and everything as well too. Mama Rayz. Mama Rayz is the best. I'm Mama Cutie. She's Mama Rayz. And I want to shout out Prozis, who is also our YouTube sponsor as well. And they provide me with all of my supplement needs, but also I kind of relate them to being like the Amazon for sports and nutrition. So they've got everything from your basic supplements that you need, your vitamins, your protein powders, your pre-workouts, but they've also got a ton of healthy food options. Also fitness gear, like as far as they've got foam rollers, they've got Pilates bands, they've got workout outfits, all sorts of fun things. So if you haven't checked them out, you got to check them out because all of their products are super, super good, healthy, really clean ingredients. I eat all of them. Even though I'm in prep, I'm still eating all of their foods and everything too. And it does not mess with my stomach, which is amazing. So QR code right there. Cuties10 is the code for them. Awesome. All right. So now that we got that going, let's get into tonight's live feed. Oh, you use them for the first time? Okay. Awesome. Yeah, they for me, I mean, obviously I'm very fair skinned. This is spray tan on me right now. I had a check-in early today with my coach. I always put on a layer of spray tan the night before I check in. So that's like my weekly routine. I always do it ahead of time. So I checked in today when I normally check on Thursdays, but I'm getting on the road first thing in the morning tomorrow. So that's why my skin here is much darker than my face. I'm like, I just finished cardio, so I've still got like the sweat glow going. Yeah, it's fun times. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to go like redo my makeup or anything like that. So sorry, guys. This is what you get right now. But anyway, yeah, they're phenomenal. And they do have DIY options too. So I actually sprayed myself. If you guys have been following me for a while, I sprayed myself when I was in Hawaii and in Japan with their DIY options. So I had my own little spray gun and everything. So, but if they are at the show, they're spraying me. If they're at the show. If not, I can do it myself. All right, so let's get into tonight's show review. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through Indy, and then we are going to go into previewing 2 shows for this coming weekend, which are the Big Man Evolution, whatever it is, in Europe, and then we've got the Orlando. So The big show this weekend is Universe. That's where most of us are going to be. That was something that people were mentioning about the Orlando show being so small as far as the number of athletes. Well, that's because a lot of IFBB pros are also coaches. So a lot of us are going to be in Jersey for NBC Universe. It used to be that the Chicago Pro used to be on the same weekend as Universe, and I always had to choose which one I was going to go to as far as clients and things like that. I actually used to work for the LSR beauty team, so I would do hair and makeup for the Chicago Pro. So I've gone back and forth. I actually won my pro card at Team Universe. It was Team Universe when I did it. It's NPC Universe now, 11 years ago. So yeah, I've been a pro for 11 years. I'm an OG, just a little bit, but it's cool. It's always cool to go back to Universe because, again, that is where I won my pro card. So it's always fun to kind of reminisce and things like that. So that is this weekend. I will be there. We have one fitness girl on stage tomorrow, so I'm getting there super early so that I can go run through her posing. I did her posing and her suit for her for the show, so I can run through her posing before she gets on stage at noon. And then we have a lot of bikini and wellness girls on Saturday, a lot, as far as suit posing. And then I actually have a prep client that's competing as well. So I'm excited about that. So with that, let us move over and talk about Indy. Here we go. Okay, so this was a pretty decent lineup, like we talked about. We weren't really sure, who was going to take this because it could have gone to really anybody in that first, that top 5. Sorry, I just lost my page again. There we go. And at the end of the day, I was watching video and things like that, and you could tell that the judges were having a really hard time when it came to the top 3. They were moving the top 3 around quite a bit. Initially, it looked like it was between Emmy and India, but then it looked like they were kind of moving everybody around Jody. So from what I could see from the video and from the photos, my initial take was I felt like Emmy had the best balance from top to bottom. I felt like India had the best presence. She's just got an amazing presence on stage. She just kills it with that. And then I felt like Jody had the best glute pop. Now, I don't know what it looked like in person. It could have been very different in person. I don't know. That's just what I saw from the videos that I was watching. And when I look at the photos from this particular show, we're going to go through the top 5. This lighting was harsh, you guys. This was rough lighting. So these girls look kind of hard, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't necessarily know if that's what they look like in real life. So I'm just going to kind of preface that because when you got that really like hard one directional lighting, it looks like these girls are a lot harder than they actually are, which I think we also had that happen in at Wasatch. So Wasatch, the girls looked quite a bit more muscular, quite a bit harder. And I think we're going to see the same kind of thing here. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say before we start going through these pictures. So that's the comparisons. We'll go through that in a second. But let's talk about, so Lizzie came back after being off stage for a while here. She looked great. Ended up in that 5th place position. From what I've seen from Lizzie in the past, this was a very, very good look. Let's pull up her front shot. She's fully posed here, I think. There we go. Now she's relaxed a little bit. So to me, this looks like it's pretty good conditioning. She might have, and again, this is me basing this on the girls that placed higher than her. She may have needed to be a touch tighter. This looks pretty good to me. But again, the other girls, when I pull them up, you're going to see the difference in the conditioning and you can kind of make your determination. Again, I'm going based on what I'm seeing from this lighting. I don't necessarily think she needs to be harder. I just think, from the pictures, maybe she needed to be a little bit harder based on how they rewarded this show. I do like this top, the suit, like how it fits on her and everything like that. I've seen her suit cut not fit great in the past. This looks really good. To me, this is a pretty solid pose where I would say maybe she needs a little bit more leg development here. Maybe. The only reason why I say that is because when I look at her frame overall, she looks a little bit straight. So like if we added a little bit more like pop onto that quad, that might help to round her out a little bit. Same thing with the shoulder. Maybe she had a little bit more shoulder. So this could be a number of things. This could just be maybe she was a little bit flat. I don't know. It could just be the lighting. Like I said, I'm saying this a lot this show because the lighting was very, very hard at this show. So I don't know. I think this was a good look for her. And I was actually pretty impressed with this look, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to see little things that could have potentially been feedback, and I could be wrong on it too. So let's pull a back shot up. Oh, she's not posed here. Let's go to opposed. There we go. See, and to me, from the back, the conditioning looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Now, what I will say is she looks like she has a bit of an imbalance here. So the first thing that my eye goes to is this hamstring looks really good. This one looks a little bit inflamed. It's almost like she has an imbalance here or something. It could be the way she's standing or posing or something. Not really sure, but it just looks a little bit inflamed here versus right here. This looks really good. So it could be lighting, but this looks, it just looks a little off. It might be, I feel like maybe she just needs to shift her pose over just a little bit onto that leg, and that might even her out. That's the first thing my eye went to. I think this is a really good look as far as her back pose is concerned. Otherwise, she's very well balanced from top to bottom. Again, I still feel like she could have a little bit more pop in the shoulders. Same thing that I saw from the front, I'm seeing from the back. I like her conditioning from the back. As far as her glutes and hamstrings are concerned, I think they look pretty good. So I'll be curious to hear if anybody knows what her feedback was. And we have Brittany in fourth. Now, when we were watching the call-outs, comparisons, the videos, and things like that, it was pretty clear they had Brittany in fourth. They pulled out the confirmation round of the top four. She was in it. It was pretty clear from the way they're moving them that they had her in fourth place. Now, again, because of this lighting, it was very unforgiving. Some of the tans looked a little bit off. To me, this tan looked a little bit off. Like she looks really dark through her midsection for some reason. It could just be the light, but it looks like the tan to me. The other thing that I've mentioned a few times with her before, I mean, we all know she's been trying to downplay her upper body a bit, but we see the vascularity. You know, when we see this kind of vascularity, you're automatically going to be knocked down a few pegs from that in bikini. They don't want to see vascularity. They're going to tell you they don't want to see vascularity. So, you know, we see that through the biceps and the arms, and the shoulders, things like that. It's really hard to get rid of that and still stay full. You know, it's really hard to do that. So, yeah, I'm not sure. You know, the thing with Brittany is that she's been coming back pretty consistent. You know, she's still getting that top call out. So I'm not sure what they've been telling her each time. Like, I'm sure they're telling her she needs to be a little bit harder. She needs to be a little bit softer. So, you know, it's that depending on who she's standing next to kind of thing, you know. So she's going to be a more muscular girl. That's just going to be the case. She's also a taller girl, so she has to be a little bit more muscular. Where I think that she falls into problems is, again, when we're talking about like her upper body looks a little hard because of the vascularity, you know what I mean? And then when we turn her to the back, let's get a back shot up. So when she gets to the back, her hamstrings are a bit washed out, right? They confirmed that her tan was too dark or prejudging and blurred her detail. Okay. See, I didn't see what the feedback was for any of these girls. I don't know what the feedback was for anybody, but I did feel like her tan was a little bit dark. So, okay, that's not just the lighting. That's true to life. Okay, makes sense. But see, when you look at her from the back here, again, her hamstring tie-ins look washed out. Now, we know she can get really crispy hamstring tie-ins. We've seen them. You know, so I think what she has an issue with, I think that her issue is she needs to come in full and not get washed out at the same time on the lower half and keep the upper body under control. I mean, it's hard to do that, guys. Like we always talk about, bikini is down the middle, right? And it's really, really hard to be down the middle. You know, it's just hard. It's hard to get the upper body to do the same thing as your lower body. You know, so I think she's got some decent pop here, but I do feel like she's a little flat. I think she's a little flat. And they probably do that on purpose so that she doesn't get those really etched in tie-ins. That's probably what they're doing, you know? So I don't know. It's a tough balancing act. It really is. And then we have India. So the thing about India is that, again, she just kills the stage with her overall like look and her presence. Like she just wows with that. So that's going to always get her up towards the top because of that. But then once you get her there, you start noticing the issues. You start noticing the little things, right? So the first thing that my eye goes to when I see her front pose is it looks like she's got a little bit of water on her lower back right here. You know, we didn't see this little roll right here on Brittany. We didn't see it on Lizzie. We do see it on her. She's also got the vascularity here in the shoulders and the arms and things like that. You know, she's always trying to pull open this upper body in order to make her waistline look smaller, but in the process, it ends up making her look a little uneven from top to bottom. It's really a difficult thing to work around when it comes to your waistline. She was one of the last people to switch over to this front pose. She always used to do that old stallion pose where they kick the hip back. And the reason why she did that is because of her waistline. She didn't want to expose that. Whenever she tried to get into this pose, this is what we saw. So this is going to always be a constant issue for India. And I don't really know how you can fix it because it's just genetics. You know, it's the same thing with me. I have the same structure. My waistline is thick like that. It just is what it is. And I was also one of the last people to drop the stallion pose for that reason, because that is the way I could make my waistline look smaller. So, you know, maybe we just need to bring the stallion pose back. I know it's kind of been phased out, but who knows? Maybe it'll come back over time, because it's something that we used to use in order to combat these genetic problems. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's unfortunate because it's just genetics. It is what it is. There's not a whole lot you can do with that. And then when we turn it to the back, it gets exposed even more that she's got that wide waistline, right? So her glutes are phenomenal. Like, this is great conditioning. It's just, her glutes are perfect. You know, this is how she's always won a ton of shows over the years, you know? But when you look at her again, she looks a little bit unbalanced because now her shoulder width is so wide and she's got those delts, but she has to have that in order to make her waistline look smaller in the back. So again, these are things that she's just genetically built this way, and she's trying to find ways to get around it, right? She's trying to find ways to disguise it. I think she's doing a great job of it. I'm not really sure what else she can do, because she can't grow her glutes or they're going to be too big. They're already borderline too big. Right? So you can't grow your glutes even more to make your waistline look smaller. So, you know, I don't know exactly what the fix is here. You know, take out a rib cage or a piece of your ribs. I don't really know. Somebody help me out, because I would love to know too, because my waistline's the same way. So I don't know what you do. But yeah, her back shot's perfect. It really is. I mean, it's really hard to beat that, you know. But Bikini's balance. It's not just a glute game. It is about balance. So again, speaking about balance, let's go to Emmy, because Emmy, in my opinion, had the best balance from top to bottom at this show. Let's see. Here we go. So here's her front pose here. I mean, really well conditioned. Again, we just talked about Indy and how she had that little squish of water on her lower back. Emmy does not have that here, right? You can see the difference now, right? Waistline's nice and tight. You know, she's opened up. She's got some vascularity going on here too. They've all had it so far. Again, this has been really rough lighting, so we're seeing all of the things. She's got great glute pop here. You know, everything's in line here. I don't really see anything that I would change. The only thing that I like, because I was there in person for the DC Pro, and the only thing that I would have changed with her, she started to kind of slump with her upper body with her front pose, and she's not doing that here. So I don't see that as an issue here. I think she fixed that. So, you know, I think this was just a matter of, I don't think that she did anything wrong. I really don't think she did anything wrong. I think she just needs to show up the same. You know, I know that her feedback at New York was to watch her lower abs, make sure she keeps those tight. So I don't know if she did that here, or if she was able to, you know, if she was able to hold it in or anything. I didn't see enough in-person stuff to say. But from the shots, she looks good. From the photo, she looks like she did that. So let's take a look at her back pose. Here we go. So again, I think this is a very, very well balanced back pose. I don't think you can get much better than this. You know, she's got nice full round glutes. The hamstring tie-ins are tight, but they're not too tight. Her shoulders across the back are in line with her feet on the bottom. I mean, this is a really really good back pose right here. So I don't think I would change anything, to be honest. I don't think I would change anything with this back pose. I thought he was going to win. Looks real good, right? Looks amazing. Yeah, and I didn't look at the scorecards. Anybody have the scorecard? I don't know what the placings difference was between everybody. I mean, it was clear, like I said, when I was watching the confirmation round, the video, they were moving around a lot. So I don't think it was like a clear-cut win or anything like that. I think it was very, very tough. I think most of these shows have been like that. I don't think anybody has been like a clear-cut, oh, she's got this show. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's had that this year. Well, not this year, but recently. You know, we've seen a lot of girls that have been very, very close. So again, I don't think I would change anything. I just, being honest, I don't think I would change anything. I would just show up again, you know? And then Jody did win. So I saw a post that this is her 19th show and her first pro win. So she did qualify for the Olympia in the past, but it was on points. She's placed second. I don't even know how many times. A lot of times, right? So she's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. She finally won this show. So, excuse me. So my critiques for her kind of are the same from World Classic as they are here. This front pose is still pretty sideways, and I know she's doing that on purpose because it shows off how tiny her waistline is. I mean, she does have, I think she had the smallest waistline on the stage, like of everybody, you know, so it does show off how small her waistline is. It does show off that glute pop and the hamstring and all of that stuff. So I get that. I'd still like to see what it looks like if she opens it up a little bit. I think if she just opens this toe up and opens the hip up just a touch, it might balance her a little bit better. But again, she won the show, so I'm not saying this was the wrong choice. I just like to see what it looks like. I'd like to see what it looks like with a little more open of a stance versus so closed off. You know, a lot of people have been kind of critical of her suit top and things like that. To be honest with you, I don't think it's the suit top that's the issue. I just think that her implants are set out so far. I don't really know what the solution is to this because you don't want to do a bigger cup because it's going to just look weird, right? You don't want to do so much coverage that it's going to look odd. Maybe try pulling the triangles in a little bit, but that might also not work depending on how her implants actually sit. They may not move. So that might look worse. I don't know. I just like to see some different options here and just see what that would do for her, because we see a lot of this inner chest here that looks really, you know, bony. That's one thing I would try to figure out a solution here for this suit top. Yeah, and I think the disco ball effect, as far as the suit is concerned, was from the lighting. I don't think it was the suit. I think it was the lighting at this show. This show's lighting was very, very hard. You know, it kind of aged everybody a lot. You know, made everybody look a lot harder than I think they actually were in real life. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, I think it was more so the lighting of the show than anything else. I don't think it was the suit that was the problem as far as the disco ball effect. You know. You know, that's the thing. It's like, I know from designing suits, there's only so much you can do with some people's anatomy. You know, it just is what it is. You do your best, but if you have wide set implants, there's not a whole lot you can do with that. So when I was watching video of the first call out, Jody clearly had the best glute pop. I don't think she really changed her posing at all from World Clash. I think it's pretty much the same. She clearly had the best glute pop here. And I'm wondering what her feedback was, because here it doesn't look so bad. Like some pictures I've seen, she looks super hard through the hamstrings. This, we see a faint tie-in. So this is not as bad as some of the other photos that I've seen. Like she looks actually pretty good right here. She doesn't look like she's over the line as far as the conditioning is concerned. Really small, tight, tiny waist from the back, which is very helpful. I think she could probably stand up a little taller here. I think she's arching quite a bit. Maybe, I don't know. It just feels like this is really like smushed almost. I'd like to see her elongate a little bit. But overall, I mean, it's a killer back shot. I think that's probably what pushed her over the edge as far as the win is concerned. The coupling of the small waist and the pop of her glutes, she definitely had the best glute pop on the stage. All right, we're going to block another user. Can you guys comment, please, so we can get rid of this person's comment? I don't understand. He's just going to keep making fake profiles. Cool. Like I said, whenever you do that, you increase my engagement because you get people to comment to get rid of your comment. So guys that are on the live feed here right now, just plug something in, give Jody a shout out for winning the show. I just want to get his comment off my screen, please. Please and thank you. Oh my gosh. Who has no life to do that? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Oh my goodness gracious. I know, right? I was waiting for them to show up too. So I think his projection, his life has gone down after 25. I know, right? Well, to be perfectly frank with you, I mean, what kind of life do you have if you sit there and you wait for me to go live just so you can put up a troll comment and I can block you? What kind of life is that? Like, come on, man. Really? So sorry, because my life. Oh, baby, I know, right? I mean, come on, guys. I need you all to come in on me right now. We almost got them off my screen. We did a few more comments. Need a few more comments. There we go. You're welcome. You're welcome for the great information. You're welcome. Oh my God. Yeah, Nadia took 6th. Yep. Yeah. That's something you can do too. I only ever cover, the top 5, or if they have like a confirmation round of 4 or something I'll do that because you just have more footage from them, that kind of thing. So if there's somebody you want to give a shout out to, go for it. But I appreciate you guys coming in and getting rid of his comment, because apparently he's going to come on every time I have a live feed and I'm going to have to block him. But you know what? It just improves my engagement. Like I said, it just improves my engagement. So keep going, because I don't know. That dude has no life. Just keeps making new YouTube user accounts so he can comment on my screen. Like, how many accounts do you have, dude? All right, cool. Oh my goodness gracious. So I can comment on this, the whole perfect score thing, because this is actually something that's like a pet peeve of mine, because we actually don't know. Like, nobody ever wins with a perfect score. They could, like, don't get me wrong, but we don't know that for sure, because scores get dropped. The highs and the lows get dropped. Depending on how many judges are on the panel, the highs and the low scores get dropped. So we actually never know. We never know. So I just wanted to put that out there. We never know if somebody actually wins with a perfect score or not. We don't know that. That could be one outlier that puts them in second, something like that. So anyway, yeah, right. He just keeps creating new YouTube accounts so that he can comment on here every week. Like, what kind of where's your life? Like, what is your life? Seriously. And it's the same comment every time. Like, at least be creative and say something else. Okay. Moron. Oh my God. All right. So that was fun. Okay. So that's that show. We finished up that show. Cool. Awesome. Let's go to our previews for this week. So, like I said, I think this is Orlando. Let's do Orlando first. Here we go. So, like I said, there's not a lot in Orlando. There's a lot in Europe. There's not a lot in Orlando, but it's still a pretty impressive show. As far as we've got some bigger names here. There's some names I don't know. Probably a few new pros. I mean, we just had junior nationals, so maybe some girls are coming out and doing some pro debuts. If they didn't do World Classic, who knows? But yeah, we've got a few people coming back. So I'm going to go through the ones that we have up here. So Masa, obviously, she was in first call at World Classic. I keep calling it World Clash. It was World Classic. She took 7th there, but she took 2nd at DC Pro. So she's definitely going to be watching here. I'm not really going to go through each one of these physiques specifically, but she is one absolutely to be watching. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more fullness in her shoulders. If she can pull that balance up a little bit better at this show, maybe pump the shoulders up a little, she might be able to get up into that top spot. Wouldn't put it past her. Next up, we have Sue. So I brought Sue up because she's actually a Masters competitor. She did compete at the Mile High. She took 3rd there, but that was that show where like everybody knew that Ashley was going to do it. So it was just the Masters really that showed up. there's Kate's and there's Masters. So she took third. She is a previous Olympian, though. So while she is over 40, she has been to the Olympia in the past. Now, do I think she's got a shot at winning the show? Probably not. But I wouldn't put it past her to be in the top 5. She could be in the top 5 for sure. Then we have Jasmine. So Jasmine last show was in November. Was that November? Yeah. So it was November, and she took second in November. So she's had a decent off season. She's coming back. She's always one that is consistently in those top, 5, top 3 spots, that kind of thing. So she's absolutely one to be watching here as well. And then we have Brianna. So Brianna's last show, I believe, was Olympia. So she did very, very well last season, but again, she's had a very long off season, so we haven't seen her in a while. She did, let's see, did she do 2 first places last year? No, she got 1 first place last year, but everything else was second or third. So she did a handful of shows last year, all of them in the top 3, top 2. So she comes back looking improved. She could absolutely take it here too. Anybody else on this list that I missed that could be in the talks here? I'm going to put my top 3, and it could go any which way, as Masa, Jasmine, and Rihanna. And it's just going to be a matter of how the judges see it. I think Christy Imsande, sorry, I can't pronounce the last name. I think she could be one to look at the top 5 too. I think she's been top 5 in the past. I know she's gotten at least 6th or 7th before. I think she's been close. So she's another one to be looking at for sure. So that's really it for Orlando. It's gonna be a quick show, but somebody will get their Olympia qualification. Let's go to Mr. Big Evolution. So I pulled up a bunch of names for this one. These European shows are getting huge, you guys. I mentioned this on the Reddit boards the other day. I like seeing a ton of athletes in these shows because you have to remember that this is relatively new still. It's just a few years old over in Europe as far as the standards and criteria from the IFBB. So they've been producing a lot of new pros, right? They've been producing a lot of new pros. So with that, Nicole, did I miss Noelle? I'll have to pull her up. I'll go back and I'll pull her up. I missed one. But anyway, so going back to the European shows, they've been churning out a lot of new pros, right? So there's been a lot of girls in Europe that have done very well over the last few years, but they're not doing as great now because these newer pros that are coming out are fitting the criteria better. So the girls that used to be doing pretty well in Europe are not really hitting it anymore because they're a little bit too muscular, they're a little bit too dense, they haven't updated their posing, whatever it may be. But the criteria is getting a lot closer in Europe now than what it is over here in the States. They've always had US judges go over there, but the difference is that the competitors coming out now are closer to the actual criteria that you see here in the States. So just because you go over to Europe now, you're not going to win a show, right? So yeah, and that's the thing when it comes to the criteria, guys. It shifts because of the competitors on stage. So the competitors coming on stage now are getting closer and closer and closer to the criteria that we see here in the States. So I bring that up to say, because there's a lot of girls on this list we don't know at all, but we've already seen a few come out this year and win shows that were like brand new pros, pro debuts and things like that in Europe because they fit the criteria better than some of the girls that have been pros for years in Europe. So with that, I pulled up a few names. Christina Brunner, she is an ex-Olympian. She's been doing decent this year, 3rd, 6th, that kind of thing. This last show that she came into, she was a little bit more muscular than usual. My critique for her all last year was her posing. Her posing was off. She fixed quite a bit of that this year, but she is a lot more muscular this year too, so that might be hurting her a little bit. If she had kept kind of the muscularity of what she had last year and just fixed the posing, the presentation, she'd be right on, right? But from what I've seen, she's quite a bit denser now. We'll see. She could come up and do this. So Evie, we haven't seen on stage for a while. I think, she didn't do the Arnold this year. I think it was Olympia. It's the last time we've seen her on stage. So Evie tends to win every show she walks into in Europe. So she would clearly be a favorite. But I'm going to get into why that might not be the case in just a minute. As far as this show, but I would say going into the show, she's probably one of your top people to be looking at, you know, top 2, 3, that kind of thing. But she's got some people on her heels. Alessia is one to be watching. Now, Alessia is one of those ones, again, she has not been doing very well this season in comparison to previous years. She's been doing bottom of the top 5 each of these shows that she's getting into or less. So she is a lot more muscular. They're muscular and fuller this year, and they're really kind of not rewarding that. So we'll see what happens at this show. I honestly see her probably outside the top 5. But she's a previous Olympian. She competes a lot, so hopefully she's improving, and we'll see what she looks like this coming weekend. This is why I said Evie may not win this show, because Valeria is in the show too. And Valeria is also one of these competitors, and whenever she walks into a European show, she wins it. So one of these 2 girls is going to not win this show. You know what I mean? So it's going to be either Evie or Valeria, and it's going to be a matter of which one that they decide to go with that day, because both of them almost always, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't look up their full contest history, but I don't think either one of them have lost a European show. I could be wrong on that, because again, I didn't look up the whole history, but it's if they have, it's like one. You know, it's like one show. So this will be that they're clearly your top 2 here. They're clearly your top 2 potentially going into this show. Ruki has been doing very well this season. You know, again, top 2 in both of these shows here. So I do expect to see her up towards the top. Don't know if she's going to pull out a win again, because we've got Evie and we've got Valeria in there, but she could be an upset right here. We have Francesca, who, again, previous Olympian, but this year she's been coming out not doing as great as she has in the past. So she did win. Okay, she won the Hungary. I missed that one completely. When was that? So she is already qualified. But the last show that she went into, she was bottom. She was the bottom of the top 5. She was 5th. So you know, the thing with Francesca that we've talked about is she tends to be a little bit denser. Again, so that density that we're looking at from previous European competitors is now being penalized with these newer competitors coming in that don't have that they don't want, right? So we'll see what this does for her. I still think she needs more glutes. That's always been her kind of downfall. You know what I mean? She always comes in shape. You can see here she's using her hair to try to cover her lat a little bit, you know, because she does have quite wide lats. But she needs to grow some glutes still. Front pose is great. Back pose. She really came into her own during the whole Issa standing time frame, when Issa was the Olympia champ, and more wide lats and things like that were being rewarded. So that's really kind of where she popped out. Now that's not being rewarded as much. So she is getting penalized for it a bit, which is why you see her hair down in front of her like that. And then we have Allison. So Allison has been fighting in that top 5 all year. Her last show that she was in, her conditioning to me was a little bit off, but she's been competing a lot this year. So she did these shows. She also did the Arnold. So, you know, she's done what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows, 8 shows at this point, something like that. That's a lot of shows, guys. Your body starts to get tired. So, you know, she'll probably still be in that first call out, most likely in the top 5 somewhere. But we'll see if she can surpass Valeria or Evie. At this point, I would say no. But you know, anything's possible when they get on stage on show day. So other than that, those are the ones I pulled up. Does anybody have any other names on here that they see that I missed? And then also this is a pro-am. So the amateurs, when they win their pro cards, can jump into this show as well, just like we just saw at the World Classic. So that we could see a brand new pro come out and win their pro card, which Olympia qualification, which again is more likely to happen in Europe because of the criteria shifts, right? So give me just a second. If there's anybody that I missed, go ahead and put that in there. Noelle Ingenue, that's the one I missed on Orlando. So let me check that. I just don't remember her. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, so she was just in Indy. She was 10th in Indy. Oh, so she's probably placed in previous years. She placed 5th at the Atlantic Coast. I don't see a 3rd in open. All I see is maybe, maybe Hurricane. Yeah, it's Hurricane. Okay. She is Masters. I remember talking about her. We just didn't talk about her this year because she's Masters. So she hasn't competed this year. Other than Indy, where she was 10th. I'm looking at her pictures now. Did I miss anyone? So I'm looking at her photos. I'm just gonna pop up her front pose for you guys so I get a chance to shout her out real quick. She's fixed her front pose. Back pose, she was bending over a lot. She used to stand up. She has some tanning issues, it looks like. It looks like to me her posing really hurt her. She's bending over a lot. Not really sure why she's doing that. Maybe just try to show hamstrings. Not sure. But that's a lot of her issues posing and tanning. She's got a really blotchy tan on the back there. I mean, if she can fix that for this weekend, that could be something that could help her going into Orlando. That's definitely fixable, you know? So all right, anybody missed? Anything that I missed? Anything that you guys wanted to put out there? Well, I'm waiting to see if anybody has anything to add. Anna. Okay, there's another name to look at. So while we're waiting, again, I'm going to pop up my new, it's up there already. My new IG's up there already. I was thinking I'd take it down. I didn't take it down. And then we have Prozis up for a moment here. So you can grab that QR code. It's also in the description box on all of my videos. If you can't find the link, you can always find it there. And then also throw up Liquid Sun Rayz as well. Anything else you guys wanted to add before we finish out for tonight? With that, you guys, I am going to let you go because I have a lot to get done before I leave at 5 a.m. to drive to Jersey. My 4th of July will be spent mostly on the road, mostly. Cross your fingers. Maybe we'll get a pro card in fitness. And then it's going to be a long day on Friday. Long day. Be fun, though. All right, you guys, with that, I will see you back here again next week. We'll do another wrap up. We'll do another preview. Behind the Bikini will be out this coming weekend because Jordan and I are going to do it in person at Universe on Saturday when everything's wrapped. So once the girls are all done and the guys are on stage, we're going to do our Behind the Bikini in person. So Bikini is so exciting. I know, right? It's always something. There's always twists and turns in Bikini for sure.